My Weird Writing Tips by Dan Gutman. Pictures by Jim Pelot. Spelling. Knowing right from wrong. I mean knowing right from wrong. Spelling. I know. I saved this part until now because I know how hard it is and how much some of you hate it. A lot of kids, there's no such word as a lot, by the way, think that in the age of texting and tweeting, nobody needs to spell words correctly anymore. It's true. You can just tap out any old letters on your keyboard or keypad. But when you go to school and write enough in an essay when you mean enough, you're going to look like a dumbhead. And like I said before, you're also not going to get good grades or make the big bucks. English is a weird language. A long time ago, some imbecile decided that we should spell the word through like this. Through. What could he, I assume it was a guy, have been thinking? It was probably the same guy who came up with the idea of putting peanut butter and jelly in the same jar. Think how many hours humanity would have saved over the centuries if that dumbhead had simply spelled the word like this. Thru. Why, I bet we would all have flying cars and jetpacks by now. Spelling is really hard because English is such a weird language. Sometimes a word can look right, but it is completely wrong. Sometimes it looks wrong, but it is completely right. In a perfect world, right would be spelled right and wrong should be spelled wrong, right? Sometimes English just makes no sense at all. Vegetarians eat vegetables, but humanitarians don't eat humans. That I know of, anyway. How can a bass be a fish and also a kind of guitar? We recited a play and play at a recital. We drive on the parkway and park on the driveway. A slim chance and a fat chance are the exact same thing. You fill in a form the same way you fill out a form, and your alarm is just as annoying whether it goes off or on. If your house burns up or burns down, you still end up with no house. Our noses run and our feet smell instead of the other way around. The plural of goose is geese, and the plural of tooth is teeth. So why isn't the plural of booth, beef, and moose, meese, or mooses? How can one deer be called a deer and 100 deer be deer? What's up with that? A bandage can be wound around a wound. A farm can produce produce. Polish people polish furniture. There's no time like the present to present someone with a present. You can object to an object. You can be too close to a door to close it. If the wind is too strong, you could wind up dead. If you tear up a paper, it could bring a tear to your eye. Why is quicksand slow? Why are boxing rings square? And for goodness sake, can somebody tell me why there are no eggs in eggplant, no ham in hamburger, and no dogs in hot dogs? Well, I know why there are no dogs in hot dogs, because nobody would eat them. But you get the point. In far too many cases, English makes no sense at all. Spelling tricks, mnemonic devices. The good news is, there's a solution to this problem. And no, it's not the spell checker on your computer. For one thing, you don't always write on a computer. But even if you use a computer that has a spell check, you still have to check your work carefully, because Spelling checkers don't catch everything. If you write, I went to the store, or I went to the store, the spelling checker might not notice anything is wrong because to and two are both correctly spelled words. To means the number two. To is the preposition and to means also. No, the solution to the spelling problem is to use tricks. There are a whole bunch of little mental tricks to make those hard-to-spell words easy to remember. Take the word cemetery. I used to have trouble spelling it because it seemed like there should be an A in there somewhere. Then somebody told me that if you just imagine 3 tombstones in a row with the letter E on each one, you'll never forget that cemetery has 3 E's. And she was right. I never did. Here are a few tricks for other confusing words. Together. Break it into 3 little words. To, get, and her. Principal or principal. Which one is in charge of your school? Just remember this. The principal is your pal. Desert or dessert. Which one is the hot place with a lot of sand and which one is a tasty treat after a meal? You always want seconds of a treat, right? So add a second S for seconds when you want to spell dessert. Another great spelling trick is to learn a sentence in which the first letter of each word spells out a hard-to-spell word. So let's say you have trouble with the word arithmetic. No sweat. Just remember that a rat in the house may eat the ice cream. A-R-I-T-H-M-E-T-I-C. Here are a few others you may want to try. Geography. George Eastman's old grandmother rode a pig home yesterday. Because big elephants can always understand small elephants. Rhythm. Rhythm helps your 2 hips move. Necessary. Not every cat eats sardines. Some are really yummy. Ocean. Only cat's eyes are narrow. Lasagna. Lasagna and spaghetti are good nutritional aids. People. People eat oranges people like eating. Biscuit. Breakfast is semi-complete unless I travel. Psychology. Please say you can help old ladies open green yams. If you go on the internet and search for spelling tricks, you'll find a zillion of these, or you can invent your own. If you do, make them personally meaningful. Let's say you always forget how to begin the word beautiful and you have an annoying brother named Bobby. Just think, Bobby eats an uncooked toenail and form an image in your head of your brother biting his own toes. You'll never forget that beautiful starts with B-E-A-U-T. Think up weird images, rhymes, or odd sayings that will stick in your head. I before E except after C and blah 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 blah. You've heard this one before. I before E except after C, or sounding like A as in neighbor or way. This rhyme comes in handy because there are so many words with an IE in the middle. Achieve, belief, mischievous. The problem is that there are lots of exceptions to the rule. Either, neither, foreign, forfeit, height, leisure, seizure, caffeine. And of course, there's one very important word that goes against this rule. Weird. I guess some words you just have to memorize. Just to make things more confusing, some English words called homophones sound the same but are spelled different and have completely different meanings. For example, fair and fair. You pay your bus fare to go to a county fair. If you get cheated, it's not fair. You wear clothes, but if you lose your clothes, you don't know where they are. Where always refers to a place. You don't hear with your ear, you hear with your ear. That's a simple way to remember it. The word ear is in here. Think about the words we discussed. To, and to. Affect and effect. These are also homophones, so you can't spell them by sounding them out. You just have to remember them. A synonym is a word you use when you can't spell the other one. Balthasar Gracian. Secret spelling trick? Shh! Don't tell anybody that I told you this. Certainly don't tell your teacher. It's a secret, just between us. Ready? If you don't know how to spell a particular word, don't use that word. For example, let's say you're about to write this sentence. It is unnecessary to go to Harvard to become successful in life. The problem is you're not quite sure how to spell unnecessary or successful. In fact, these are two very commonly misspelled words because of those repeating letters. Here's your solution. Trash the sentence entirely and reword it. Such as, you don't have to go to Harvard to make something of yourself. Pow! Done! Simple. If you can't spell the word you want to write, use another word. Rephrase the sentence. It works every time. And nobody will ever know you were just too lazy to look up unnecessary and successful. Having said that, if you can't get up off the couch to check the spelling of a word, you are truly a lazy bum. You should be ashamed of yourself. It's not hard. They've got these things called dictionaries. Open one in print or online. It won't kill you. Bad words. Here's a list of words that are notoriously hard to spell. Just to keep you on your toes, see if you can find the one word on the list that is misspelled. Abbreviate. Absence. Accidentally. Achieve. A lot. Arctic. Average. Beautiful. Beginning. Belief. Believe. Bicycle. Biscuit. Broccoli. Business. Calm. Chaos. Congratulations. 8 or 8th. Embarrass. Especially. Exaggerate. February. Foreign. 4th. Fulfill. Cancelled. Conscience. Conscious. Deceive. Desperate. Disease. Encyclopedia. Enough. Fahrenheit. Genius. Government. Guarantee. Handsome. Height. Heroes. Illegal. Immediately. Irresistible. Judgment. Knowledge. Laboratory. Laugh. Library. License. Lieutenant. Loneliness. Miscellaneous. Mischievous. Misspelled. Necessary. Neighbor. Occasionally. Occurred. Often. Parallel. Physical. Peace. Pigeon. Possession. Receive. Rhyme. Rhythm. Schedule. Separate. Sincerely. Succeed. Thought. Through. Tongue. Ukulele. Unnecessary. Vacuum. Valleys. Wednesday. Weird. Xylophone. Did you find the one word on the list that was misspelled? It was misspelled. So all of those words above are spelled right? Yup. Ha! Na 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 boo boo on you.